I don't have to listen to nothing you say because I feel like you are a warmonger. And when you start giving an opinion about some of these things, then it comes to you spread hate. I had an appointment this morning. After the appointment, my daughter and I went shopping, and she was in a store, and I just happened to have the radio on, and it was a talk show, and there was a caller that called in. And you don't have to catch all the conversation to understand. If you're conservative, you realize freedom's not free. You realize that young men go to war. And when young men go to war, young men die. And the rule is point number one is, young men go to war. Point two, they die. And point three is you can't change one or two. But this lady was making her comparison of education and the military. And she was lambasting every conservative in the world because spending more money on making sure this country remains free and is not invaded by a foreign person, WikiLeaks or not, is not as important as giving money to any and every educational system in the country and to every family who struggles to buy books and crayons and pencils and paper and lunch money. And she thought that this country and all of these phrases, these bigots and these hate mongers and these warmongers, all of this stuff was spewing out of this lady's mouth because the defense budget was larger than the Department of Education budget. I couldn't believe what I was listening to. And she was talking about one of the reasons that you had to have the money and that she just didn't care about all of this military spending. The money should be going to the educational system. And the guy made the point. He said, in math skills and our country is only second worst to some little country that could fit into West Louisville. I forgot the name of the country. They're the only ones worse than us in math skills in the world. And she says, but we got to have the money because we got to be able to pay for it. She lists all this stuff and she said, and we got to be able to arm the teachers with everything they need, or they can't do their job. She says this country's not giving enough money to education. Consequently, our scores are low. And he asked the lady, "Are you a teacher?" "Well, yes, I am." "Are you a math teacher?" "Well, yes, I am." He says, "Do you bear any responsibility for this education mess?" And her answer was no. "Oh, no. You're a warmonger. You're a hate monger." She said, "I can't believe you said that. I'm not responsible for what's taught in here. The government's responsible." Wow. I couldn't believe that that's what she had to say. So it's real hard to talk to those liberals because, you see, it's your fault. This spreading hate thing, it just, boy, it just kills me about how we're spreading hate if we do anything other than what they like. A favorite phrase when you're trying to have an argument with a liberal is, you are a radical right-winger. A radical right-winger. Okay, I'm radical. I believe in God, a radical theory. I believe in working, an even more radical theory. I believe in taking care of my family. Oh my God, what an awful thing for me to say. I believe that we should have an environment in the military to where if you want to be gay, you can be gay without having to tell everybody. I'm so radical. I believe the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag should be done every morning at school if you live in this country without having to send notes home and the ACLU coming in and raising hell about it. I'm a radical. I believe that we shouldn't be giving earmarks in pork to senators and congressmen, House of Representative members, in order to help get them elected by bringing home the bacon. Oh, I'm so radical. I believe that if you don't feel the same way as Al Sharpton, that you should be able to say what you think. I'm a radical. I'm a radical right-winger. I'm so radical that I say to you, I'm not so sure abortion's right. Or I could say to you, abortion's absolutely right. And either way, depending on what way the wind's blowing with a liberal, that you're going to be a radical. Now, I've just got a problem with abortion. My resident expert, she has a doctoral degree in playing, and she has a couple of master's degree in filling up diapers. And I think I have to take a lot of stuff from her. But when I look at her and I say, how could anybody want an abortion when you see a beautiful little kid like that? I don't know. I can't judge you if you believe in abortion. I know all the articles, all of the articles that have been written. I know about arguments on each side of the fence. And I can't tell you whether I'm right or wrong. I can only tell you how I feel. And if I'm right-wing for that and I'm radical for that, then I guess I'm radical. I've done a great deal of study, and after the first of the year, where we can get down into some kind of steady study, we're going to start having some lessons, I guess you would call it, or discussions on the radio here about the progressive movement, about communism, about socialism, about fascism and Marxism. But when you start listening to a guy like Bill Maher, it's hard to argue with the liberal, because according to him, you're a fascist. Now, if you know me or listen to me or been around me, you'll know the furthest thing I am from is a fascist. But yet, if you don't agree with what these people say, then that's what comes out. Name calling. They say Israel should have war crimes against it, that the Zionist conspiracy. But yet, in the same tongue, they say this guy that runs Iran, such a nice guy. I don't understand. It's hard to argue with these people. They give you hell because you are against Hamas. Against Hamas? How could you be against Hamas? Well, it's pretty easy. They're a terrorist organization. Get your head out of your rectum. It's easy. I'm not a hate monger. I'm not a fascist. I'm not a radical. They kill people if you don't agree with them. Right? That's what's going to happen here. They don't even know what Hezbollah is. And if they don't know what it is, you're an idiot. We're warmongers. I love this. Where does a liberal get their information? Well, they get a lot of their information from The View. Wow. From The View. They get their information from the liberal news media. We're greedy. We're extremists. We're bigots. We listen to Fox News, for God's sake. You can't do that. You can't do that. Because we don't want illegal immigration. Did you know I'm a racist because I don't want illegal immigration? I don't have a thing in the world against Mexicans. I don't have a thing in the world against Mexicans. But I want them to come into this country the way that they're supposed to come into this country. But don't try to talk to a liberal about this, because arguing with the liberal about this is you might as well go over there and beat your head against the wall. Or you might as well try to pee up a flagpole. You're going to get more accomplished doing that. When you talk to a liberal, you're going to hear over and over that it is our obligation to provide. Fill in the blank after that. It is our obligation to provide. I think I mentioned Tuesday, and I'm still it just still irks me. This socialist professor from Occidental, I think it is, University in California, who flat out come on and said, we're supposed to give people income, we're supposed to guarantee their retirement, give them food subsidy, give them a place to live, give them an education, make sure that they have everything materially that they want in order to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And Bill O'Reilly kept saying, how are you going to pay for it? And this professor, doctoral degree, doctor whatever her name is, said that if we got rid of the military, we could pay for all of it. And O'Reilly's point was there's not enough money. For everybody you pay, there's got to be somebody over here paying in. And when you create that nanny state, there's not going to be enough people paying into the system. But they continue to say that, we as the American people and the government are obligated to provide. Just fill in the blank on the rest of it. Probably the hardest thing, and you're going to hear some of this in this thing with Al Sharpton and the FCC. If they can't win with facts, then they start personal attacks. I'm going to tell you what,